What? Brothers and sisters, when my neighbor Joe Angelelli first invited me to come to church about 3 years ago, it didn't even occur to me that he was talking about Community Church of Bennett. I thought he went somewhere further away. Didn't really know where, just thought it was somewhere further away. And as a result, I refused. But Joe did not give up. He asked 2 more times after. And for a total of 3 times, I refused. Not unlike our friend Simon Peter refusing Jesus before the cock crowed. And I've thought a lot about that in the ensuing years. It took 3 times for me to even consider coming here. But once I did, and I heard my first sermon was Pastor Donna Giver Johnson, I knew something special was happening here. And I knew I had to keep going. Now, I should say that I was baptized and confirmed in the Catholic Church and was raised Catholic. And like most American Catholics, as soon as the confirmation occurred and I held the reins of faith, I tied the reins of the noble steed to the pole and said, I'm done here. But not forever, because in college I did a brief stint for about 2 years with the Episcopalians in Edinburgh, and I became quite fond of their liturgy, and I still have a special place in my heart for the Book of Common Prayer to this day. Now, when I came here, I wasn't looking to become a Presbyterian, but everyone here was so wonderful that the label of the denomination was really kind of irrelevant. This church, for me, has always been about the people that are here. And during this turbulent time of COVID-19, I have been able to rely on the people of this church more than I ever thought possible. In fact, I've talked to many of you on the phone for several hours at a time, including Joe and Steve Mellon, who's in the back, and one of our newest visitors, Paul Leone, who, if you haven't met him, you probably saw him a few weeks ago doing his testimony. And I first met Paul when we did the Les Mis Latin group, which the reason I was part of that in the first place was because Roger Cranville insisted that I come to his house, and then suddenly there was this guy I'd never met who was this guy with a mustache. And then once we started on meeting on Zoom, I realized who the guy with the mustache was. This new guy named Paul Leone. And I have learned so much from him in the ensuing weeks in Bible study, and everybody else has been involved in the evening Bible study in particular, because I haven't been able to go to the morning one in the past, and so the evening Bible study has been a great innovation for me personally. And the times we are currently living in has been greatly buoyed by everyone here. I don't think that I would have been able to do as well as I have, being a high-risk person, living in a high-risk household, if I didn't have the people of this church that I could call at the drop of a hat. And pretty much everyone I've talked to on the phone knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you give me your number and let me call you, you will be hearing from me. So anyone I haven't talked to is more than welcome to talk to me at any time, because if there's one thing I have, it's opinion. After being a visitor for a while, for about a year, I finally decided to take the plunge and become an official member, which is a lot sooner than I thought I would. And, this church has a way of asking you to do things, and then you find yourself doing it. Because when I first did the Jets Road tree, I thought, well, there's no way I'm putting a leaf on that tree. And not only did I put a leaf on that tree, I'm now a full-fledged member. And there is something I've wanted to say to all of you. When I first joined, in case anyone who doesn't know me is listening for the first time, I am a person with a physical disability. But I do not want you to think of me as inspiring just because I have a disability and just because I've been coming to church for 3 years. If I inspire you for who I am as a person, that's great. But don't look at my wheelchair and pity me. I'm not here for pity. I'm here to be a person just like anyone else. And the real inspiration is this church right here. I'm here because the church is inspired. The church inspires me, not the other way around. So I just wanted to make that clear, because I want to be respected for who I am, not any adversity I may or may not have experienced in my life. And I always wanted to put that out there, so now I have. Which brings me to my final point, which is that in these turbulent times we're currently living, especially in the Christian community, we spend so much time dealing with the different slices of Christianity that exist, whether it's Presbyterian, Catholic, Methodist, whatever. But you know what? There's been a lot of disagreements about all sorts of liturgical stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all Christians, and we're all one faith, which is what the Apostle Paul talks about in the letter to the Ephesians. And so to make that point, I'm going to have Brother Don Smith read from that letter. Take it away, Don.
Reading from Eugene Peterson's The Message, Ephesians, the 4th chapter. You were all called to travel on the same road and in the same direction. So stay together, both outwardly and inwardly. You have one master, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who rules over all, works through all, and is present in all. Everything you are and think and do is permeated with oneness.
Thank you, John. That was beautifully read. And I really want you to think about that we're all one faith. We all have one baptism. And now I'm going to leave you with one other thing. The final words that children's author Maurice Sendak ever said in an interview was the same phrase repeated 3 times. He said, live your life, live your life, live your life. That was his final piece of advice. And so I leave that with you. Live your life, live your life, live your life. Be safe and be well, and I'll see you all soon.